Hello, everyone. Welcome to Small Biz Tips. I am here today with a good friend of mine. I actually met this guy by sending him an email, right? And his name is Galiano. What's going on, brother?
How you doing? Thank you for having me on your show. My name is Galiano. I'm the founder of Boxable, and we're sitting right now in the factory, and we are producing houses here.
Fantastic. Guys, you guys can see this. This is a major operation. They have a new type of housing that's actually revolutionized the world. So, before we even get into all this, who is Galiano?
We're in Las Vegas now, but originally I'm from the East Coast. Grew up in Connecticut, kind of near New York City.
Okay.
And I've always done kind of entrepreneurial stuff. Eventually stumbled across this idea, ran with it, and now we're here in this big factory.
Ooh, I like that. So, from the East Coast, moved to the West Coast, and this business started. But talk about that background. You said entrepreneurial stuff. Like, what were you doing before this?
Yeah, so one of the bigger hits I had was back in like 2013. I started a company related to Bitcoin.
Okay.
So it was basically a Bitcoin exchange service that did really well, and obviously Bitcoin in general did really well.
Yeah.
So that was good. And then after I was done with that, I decided to actually just go on vacation to California, and then I just never came home.
I love it.
So I had just my backpack. That was it. At a certain point, I realized I wasn't coming home, and I just called my friends. I'm like, "Hey, anyone who wants to go to my house, grab my furniture, take anything you want. I'm not coming back. I'm not going to get it." And then I ended up setting up like a large marijuana farming operation and hash oil production lab, and that was all in Northern California. And that was a totally crazy experience. And then while working on that, started working on Boxable on the side, and eventually realized this was just a huge opportunity. So took my family and moved to Vegas to pursue it full time.
This is amazing. So you have this whole farm that you're working on. How did the Boxable idea came about? Like,
yeah, so it was myself, my father Paolo, and another guy named Kyle Denman, who've been working on this. Actually, Paolo had the original idea to fold up the house many years ago, and sometime in 2017, we were just talking about different businesses, and said, you know what, let's take a look at this housing idea and see what we can make of it. And we ended up just getting all this traction. The product got better and better as we continued the R&D and the development. People started getting interested, and then eventually we got invited to go to the Builder Show in Vegas that happens annually, and actually display a house at the show.
okay.
And we didn't have a house because it was early.
Come in first, figure out the reservation.
Yeah, so we had a meeting after they invited us and said, should we commit to this? Can we do it? We were like, yeah, let's do it. So, we agreed to do it, managed to pull it off in time, got the initial prototype of the house to the show, and things kept evolving from there.
Wow. That was back in 2017. Now you guys have this big factory. What would you say that was that catalyst, right? That really made, because at the show you must have done something that made this thing go hellfire.
Yeah, I think few important things happened. One of them was deciding on the tiny house product, because what we have here is a building system where different room modules and different sizes will be able to stack and connect to build most building types. So we'll be able to build a single family house or a big apartment building and everything in between. But what we started with was just the first smallest room module in the system, and kind of targeted that for tiny houses, backyard houses. So people got really excited about that.
Gotcha.
And when I combined that product with social media to get the word out and to get the views, then we started seeing some real action, and resources kind of pouring in on all fronts.
Let's talk about that, because a lot of people will take a startup and just try to raise money from institutions and VCs, and then hire somebody to figure out the marketing. But you took a whole different path, right? You leveraged social media. Talk about what channels did you leverage to get the ball rolling like this, and then what happened from these channels?
Yeah, so originally I had no idea about marketing really at all, and then I was kind of chasing down like traditional press, like let's get the local news here to do a story, and that didn't really work very well. And then at a certain point I said, all right, let me try YouTube. Okay. So I went on YouTube, I made a list of people doing housing related videos. I emailed them all, and this one girl replied to me and said, "Yeah, let's do a video." So we did that first YouTube video, and the results were amazing. All of a sudden, I saw email inquiries, web traffic's up, all these interest is pouring in, and I was like, "Oh shit,
I'm gonna do more YouTube.
I gotta double down on this." And then I went crazy, not just on YouTube, Instagram, everything else.
Wow.
And then I realized that it was just like a kind of a sales funnel, no matter what it was. If I was looking for, investment or pre-orders or employees or whatever, I would just get the views and then, remarket to those views and convert them into whatever I need to convert them into.
Genius. You figure out what people spend years trying to figure out for their business, and you did it quickly, which takes me to my next question, right? Because of social media, you were able to also build the investment side.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so that's been really, really important and really amazing for the company, because when I started, again, I was just chasing down traditional big institutional investors, and I didn't really get a response that I loved from them. I didn't see that a lot of them understood what we were trying to do. The offers we did get to invest in the company were not fair to us. We had put millions of dollars into this ourselves with our own money, and then these guys wanted to come in and take too much of the company, take control of the company, and we need to have control of the company to execute on our vision. So at some point I said, let me try crowdfunding. So we launched the initial crowdfund, and it started going well.
What platform you guys use?
So we did what's called a Reg CF offering on a website called Funder to start, and that allowed us to raise the first $1 million from anyone. And as soon as that worked, I said, again, let's double down on this. And so then I brought it from that platform directly onto my own website, and I started raising money directly on my own website. And to date, we've brought into the bank about over $90 million.
Congratulations.
Not bad.
How long did it take you to do from that $1 million to $90 million?
It's just been a couple of years, and the bulk of it's coming in now, like faster and faster now. It was slow to start.
Yeah.
And it's just totally crazy. Like, never in my wildest dreams did I think we would be doing something of this scale with that much money, with that much interest. And all of this money came from just smaller individual investors who get it, and they're super interested, and they're fans, or they want to be customers. So now we have this huge support network of cheerleaders, which is great as well.
A lot of fans.
yeah, and hopefully, one day we'll make all those people incredibly rich as well, and that'll be amazing, because it can be life changing. Like if you get in early days, like Bitcoin, or Tesla, or Amazon,
before everybody else, and you really build it out.
Crazy. So.
Oh, this is amazing. I have so many questions for you. Now you built this. That means you had to hire people and build out a team. Get this factory. Talk to us about the hiring process, because right now a lot of companies are struggling with that. How did you guys go about going from just a couple of guys to hundreds of employees?
Yeah, so we basically started working on it end of 2017, just a few guys. Eventually, I moved to Vegas, and we kept developing, and really up until like a year ago, it was just a couple guys.
Yeah.
And then when we decided we were ready to get the factory up and running, pulled the trigger on that, and got the first house came online probably in October. Now we're producing a few houses per day, but scaling up the workforce was interesting, because everyone was saying that there's labor shortages and all this stuff, so I was a little worried about it. And then we tried a few different strategies, and in the end really had no issue finding the staff at all. And one of the strategies that worked was for factory labor. I just posted an ad on Craigslist, and I said, show up Friday morning, 6 a.m. for an open house. And we did rapid fire interviews, and we were getting every Friday 20 to 30 people showing up, and we grabbed the best ones, and now we've managed to build up a staff of several hundred people out there. Really
That's genius, and it's so simple.
Yeah.
Right? You didn't need agency, you didn't need 10 staffing agency. You just put an ad out and get all these people here and find the best ones.
Yep. Yeah. We tried the temp staffing agencies first, but we didn't like what they were doing. You know?
Gotcha.
They were basically doing the same thing as me, but without as much vetting, just throwing people at us
and then
charging us.
Yeah. No, I think it was genius because you took action and really started growing this. Now let's talk about this factory, right? 'Cause this is the first one in many.
Yeah.
What is it? How big is this? We were getting a tour of this, and we're just amazed by what you guys are able to do.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, we've been able to start pretty big. We've been really fortunate, and the product, of course, is kind of a revolutionary step leap forward in housing. And the idea is that right now most housing is built one at a time, on site. It's slow, expensive, custom, and there's problems as a result. Everyone knows housing is kind of unaffordable.
Yeah.
So we think that if we can make housing work in the mass production assembly line, that we'll get tremendous efficiencies. So all the other modern products are built on an assembly line because it works. Whether it's a car or a sneaker or a television, this is assembly. But that's never been applied to housing in a way that works. There is existing factory-built housing, but they all have this big limiting factor, which is the buildings are so big that they're hard to ship, and it's very expensive to ship them. So therefore, they can't even ship them far from the factory. They have to have these small regional factories. So because our product folds up from a big 20-foot room down to 8.5 feet wide, that makes it highly legal. We get the lowest cost shipping, and all of a sudden we have this big area we can service, and we can scale up the factory. So this factory is 170,000 feet. Should produce, once we're full speed, roughly about 10 houses per day. But this is just the beginning, and it's just a proof of concept, and I consider it kind of a prototype factory. And the idea is that we're going to get into something soon, like hopefully 10 times bigger than this, with more automation, more vertical integration, more bulk purchasing power. And we're going to be able to hopefully crush the cost on housing to a level where everyone on the planet says, holy shit, I can never build for that cheap. We have to use this building system. And then it'll be full world domination.
Mass market. I love it. You can literally you're changing a whole industry. This is history because you're looking at 20 years from now, people are going to be like, that's all they're going to know. So now I want to go a little bit deeper. You mentioned you took your family and just moved to Vegas and get as a fellow entrepreneur, that's like hard to do for a lot of people. So you got to have a very supportive spouse. Tell us more about that. How was that conversation?
So, my wife, Shauna, we were in California, just had one kid at the time, and eventually said, let's do it, let's move. And she's just kind of ready to go on the adventure. So it wasn't a problem to move, and it was an exciting new opportunity. And of course, there's risk involved. But I'm not really employable, so I'm forced to take risk in businesses to make a living. So that's the way I roll, and it's all worked out really well. And we've had a wild ride, but getting to a really good place now.
Congratulations. You said you're not really employable. That's the mindset. Talk to me about your mindset when it comes to making decisions, because it seems like you move very fast and you get things done. So what's the mindset when you say, okay, let's do something? How do you always think about things?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool, especially being like a new company or a startup. There's not a lot of processes and procedures and bureaucracy, so you can move fast. And I think that goes away as a company grows. You get other benefits instead, but for me personally, like, all I really do is work. It's all I'm really interested in. I'm thinking about it every waking hour, and it feels good to me. So I'm able to really get a tremendous amount done and really strategize a lot. And not everything works, but you just have to keep trying, and eventually you'll win and stuff.
Wow, that's amazing. So to wrap things up, one thing I always ask in any interview is share one tip that any startup that's out there that's looking to grow, that want to do that 90 million that you guys did and build this type of thing. What is that one tip you would share with them that can help them?
I think it kind of goes back to what I just said about being like brutally persistent, and it's not going to be easy, and there's going to be a lot of barriers and a lot of problems, and it sucks sometimes. But you just have to keep hammering away, and eventually all those good decisions add up and they pay off big time. You find yourself in a really good spot. At least that's been my experience. And then on the crowdfunding thing, if you have a product that you think a lot of people can relate to, do the crowdfunding, because it's just there's so many benefits and very few downsides. And we've just proven that it's not even just for small stuff. Like, we've brought in $90 million. That's not an insignificant amount of money, and we achieved it all through crowdfunding. So
that's amazing. Congratulations again. Thank you for watching this. Definitely support this, guys. Click the links below. All the information about everything they got going on is here. Guys, thanks again for joining us.
thank you. Thanks for having me.
Good.